Okay, I'm going to be demonstrating today how to begin your Gestalt project. We have previously created our Gestalt influenced compositions using only black and white and only using ellipses or circles for our composition to illustrate the Gestalt principles. I'm going to walk you through how to work in Adobe Illustrator and how to ultimately create, I got another project open, how to basically get started and get rolling with basic tools in Adobe Illustrator. So once you open Illustrator, you're going to go to File and New. Your assignment is to create 6 separate compositions using the Gestalt principles. So I'm going to title my project according to the project title. The reason for that is you do not want lots of untitled projects. Because we're at the beginning of the course, it's easy to find your files, but as the course moves on, you're going to have an issue if you do not start getting in the hang of titling things what the project is called. So I'm going to type in Gestalt, and proximity is the first one that we'll look at. And I also want to pair this title with my last name, which is Dutcher. Because of the size, you want to change it to inches if it happens to default to another. And your assignment is to create an 8.5 by 11 document size. We do not need to worry about the bleed at this point. Just go ahead and click OK. All right. And as you can see, my other project is open. We'll just ignore that over there. I'm working on a promotional poster for an event in town. So the first thing that I'd like to share with you is essentially the shape tool. If you hover over the tool, it will tell you what it will do. And this is ultimately the shape tool, and embedded in it are other tools. We will get to the ellipse in just a second, but let's begin with the rectangle tool. Notice up here that my shape is going to be filled with white. I'm going to select no fill, and I want to select that it's black stroke. Now the stroke weight is here. You can arrow up or down, or you could actually manually type it in if you wanted to. I'm going to just do a 2-point stroke, and I'm going to hold Shift on my keyboard as I click and drag my first square. To be essentially more efficient and to get your workflow going, you're going to want to use Control-Command-C to copy, Control-Command-V to paste, and I'm just going to copy and paste my set of 4 here, leaving some room at the bottom for my title, which we'll get to that in a second. Now it's real easy to think, oh, it's lined up, it looks great, but when you hit Command or Control plus and minus and zoom in, grab the space bar, and that will allow you to move things around. That's how this hand is appearing here. Notice that things are not lining up. Up here, you're going to go to View, Rulers, and Show the Rulers. And you can click and drag from the rulers what is called a guide. Okay? You have the ability to hide the guides, lock the guides, all kinds of stuff. So the guide, you can clear them if you get too many and realize they're in your way. But hiding them and showing them is really a helpful tool because it helps you with alignment. Craftsmanship is very important. And if you have boxes that look straight but technically are not, that's going to drive me nuts, and it will also bug you, I would hope. Click now on your shape using the arrow keys, and then you can line essentially these up. I'm going to drag one more guide right here. And notice I'm zoomed way in, so you can always zoom back out and zoom back in again, but it is incredibly helpful to utilize the zoom feature. It's easy, again, to think something's lined up, but when in all actuality, if you zoom in, you can see, well, it's off by just a hair. And that's really what's going to set your work apart. You do not want to have a project that is slightly off. Okay, so get it as close as you can. You can use either the arrows, or again, you can use actually your the mouse just by clicking and dragging to get things aligned. Okay, so you'll want to spend some time with this and really make sure you are being precise. Okay, I'm now going to put my title here. My title is, of course, what my file name is, but you need to also title here. So I'm going to click and drag using, again, the type tool. Whoops, sorry, I thought I had the type tool. Click and drag. You have the option for lots of different font styles and character styles up here. Again, if you do not see something in your tool window here in your workplace, go to Window and make sure it's selected, okay? And then it will pop up. It's very easy to get overwhelmed. There are a lot of tools in Illustrator, so I encourage you to make sure that you have things selected. They're on your palette, so to speak, and at your fingertips. I'm now going to change my font size. I'm going to go ahead and do like a 40-point font, and I'm going to select a different style of font. I'm going to go ahead and do Mirrored Pro, we'll say. Okay, and again, this is proximity. Okay, and I could increase in size even, so I'm going to go ahead and use the arrows here. I'm also going to hit the paragraph tool. Just like if you're working in Microsoft Word or Google Docs, you have the ability to align things. You also, if you hit the character panel, can stretch the text out, which again, we will get into typography later in the course, so we'll talk about what is tracking, what is kerning, but you can manipulate all kinds of things in this, and then of course you can change the style of your font in your type kit. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. I've got my title. Notice how I'm clicking back on the selection tool. The selection tool is essentially how you get off of something. The shortcut for that, so like let's say this is selected, you can hit V on the keyboard and it will bring you back to the selection tool. I click off into the gray space a lot. And again, I use my space bar. Oops, I'm missing my title. There we go. Again, the space bar is how you can kind of grab things and move it around. Next, let's add our Gestalt dots. So we're right clicking here to select the ellipse tool. I'm going to hold down the Shift key to make sure I have a perfect circle. Otherwise, you're going to get kind of an oval shape. And again, you have the ability to make a fill of black. Maybe you want the fill to be white. You maybe want the stroke to be black, etc. The sky is the limit, okay? With this particular composition, again, I'm going to just go ahead and do a black stroke and a white fill, and you can increase your stroke as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fill my composition. And again, I'm using the effective copy and paste. And again, I'm going to create my first composition using proximity as my first one. Okay, you will make 6 separate documents. Now it's very easy to get in the swing of things, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh my goodness, I've not saved anything I've done in a long time. So once you get into a groove, get into the habit of going up to File and Save, or of course you can use the shortcut. I'm just going to save this on my desktop, and it's an Illustrator file, which is sufficient for now. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Now notice how this falls off the edge. I'm going to show you how to create a clipping mask. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my rectangle tool, hold down Shift. I'm going to click and drag over the top. And I want to chop this little guy off. So the clipping mask kind of works. I would describe it like a cookie cutter. So I'm going to hit the selection tool. While this is still selected, notice this blue here. And I'm going to hold down Shift on my keyboard and grab what hangs off the edge. I'm now going to right click, and it gives me all these other options, which is like to make a clipping mask for one. Okay, now notice how skinny this line is. That drives me nuts. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy and paste my original box and put it right over the top of what I've already got going on here. Okay, and you'll be able to tell, again, you can go up to View and Guides, and you can hide the guides or clear the guides, if you want them out of your way. Now I do want to show you one more tool, which is the Arrange tool. I'm going to go back to my ellipse. I'm going to draw some circles. Whoops. Here. Now let's say I want this, to be behind this. Okay. Well, it has no fill, so I'm going to go ahead and make a black fill just so I can kind of show you, and I'm going to have this one be white. All right, and let's say I want this black circle to be in front of this white circle. I can click on my black circle, and when I right click, again, you get lots of options that pop up. I'm going to go ahead and click Arrange. Arrange allows you to essentially move the toppings on the sandwich, so to speak, to the top or the bottom of the mix. And I'm going to go ahead and say bring to the front, and now it's in the front. All right, so I showed you a variety of different tools today to get your Gestalt compositions rolling. Again, you'll have 6 documents, which are black and white compositions using the ellipse tool, rectangle tool, and you must title each of your Gestalt compositions with the appropriate Gestalt theory. Thank you for watching.